today we have Mr. Iang Kay on another episode of Mohamed Talks with Entrepreneurs, Millionaires, Billionaires, Quadrillionaires, Public Speakers, Motivational Speakers, and more. Today we're talking about the risk in life, getting rowdy, doing the things that make your heart, that make your blood pressure go up, and just doing some things that actually make you feel alive. But of course, you have to be reasonable, because if you're going to jump into a well, you got to know how steep the water is. So, Mr. Iang, please introduce yourself to the audience.
Thank you so much, Mohamed. What an introduction. Thank you so much for having me. So I'm Iang Kay. Pretty much, I'm a heart warrior. Why? Because I was born with something known as aortic stenosis. So at the very young age, I grew up just going to the doctor's offices, and I had what I thought was a heart problem, and it technically is, so I didn't choose that. We're all born, but my point is I connect the dots back into my life. I grew up and I lived life like there was no tomorrow because I struggled for my health. So really, my purpose comes from that problem. So I had open heart surgeries, and so much of transformations went through those surgeries that I implemented into my own life. And health and wellness now is my forte. And I don't like saying I'm an entrepreneur, but I'm in project management. And when you can have ideas that can be manifested into reality, either through products or services, you know how to have those products or services be useful with your end target market in person. So at the end of the day, I don't want to say I'm a jack of all trades, but I'm a fitness enthusiast. I'm a project manager. I'm a graphic designer by trade, but really at the end of the day, my purpose is really just to bring joy to and improve the lives of others by living an inspired life. And it comes from my thriving for life. We are all living life, and it's very blessing and it's a gift, but to choose to thrive instead of just survive is a choice. And there is so much risk every single day in life and everything, but when you can really just take it one day at a time and figure out that you will never have the answers at the right time, you just have to kind of ask the right questions, and then they soon kind of will come to you. And just for me, man, I really have a childlike disposition with things. I feel like that's how we connected, because everyone needs to have that inner child when they're pursuing their potential, whatever that is. And I just feel like when you can do that, there's a lot of good things to come from that.
I mean, extraordinary. What else can I say? Because, a part of living is, you got to take the consequences. No one chooses how they live. No one chooses what happens to them. And you know what? We all have to see our imperfections as a different ability, because when people say you have a disability, that's really not the case. You just have a different ability, because in my belief, when my God, Allah, when he takes something, he gives you another. So if he takes something from you, you're going to have something that's better than anyone else. So if you lack in socials, if you can't really make friends, well, you got the intelligence for that. So here's the thing. Most of the time, people are very afraid to do anything. Do you do any outside sports? Do you do any surfing? Do you do anything like that?
Sure. I grew up playing baseball my whole life, but I liked scootering. That was my sports, but I transferred baseball into fitness, so strength training. And it's because my doctors throughout all the years were like, listen to your heartbeat, don't push yourself. I was very lucky to grow up it's called asymptomatic with my aortic stenosis is what it's called. But listen, from whether it's people or doctors telling me what I couldn't do, an entrepreneur's favorite thing, oh, you can't do that. And it's like, it's not about proving other people wrong. It's more about proving what you're made out of, what you can do. And weightlifting is my passion. And I really went into that after sports because I studied in school, graphic design, media, and marketing and branding, being able to take logos and brand, not just digitally, but onto products. So really like my passion for pretty much hiking, outdoor activities, and health and wellness comes because I value heart health. If you're not living and you're not healthy and you're not living, you're not going to be here tomorrow. So that's just part of my purpose and the ventures and the products that I brought into market, whether it's health and wellness and a push-up bar and bringing communities. But I really like taking care of your heart health because it's just, I've had to make that a priority for me when it comes to like having heart issues. So it's just, that goes hand in hand. But yes, I love playing sports and like being active, especially outdoors.
Awesome. So do you find that the risk in sports is a really nice thing? It gives us an idea around life. So what do you think risk is? And have you ever taken a major risk? Because we're taking risks on a daily basis.
Sure. That's a great question. And dude, you are way wise beyond your years, and you need to just keep helping a lot of people, because I promise you, you're doing that, especially with your Life Essentials book. But yes, for me especially, I have risk every day. So I'm on Coumadin because I'm on a blood thinner because I have a mechanical valve inside me. So technically, the doctors warn me, be careful with shaving with a razor blade because I can bleed more. Every single day, I do not choose to live my life like a bubble boy. Yes, when we drive or we go outside, something could happen where a car can come, and that's why there's risk everywhere. And I feel like you have to understand that if you live to see another day, there's going to be risk, but there's going to be beauty. So risk is so important because there's no rewards and reaps of benefits without taking risk. And there's such thing as calculated risks. But it's just important because do you remember that one guy that gave up? Neither do I. So if you are going to take your life for granted and not try or do anything, you're going to miss out on so many experiences and opportunities. Risk, if you can mitigate risk by getting rid of fear and choosing faith and taking risks with faith, you'll be very surprised with doors that will open and the sense of confidence and esteem, emotional self-esteem that you can have from taking risk. And I just feel like for me, it's like a physical thing. Like, yes, technically I can bleed a little bit more. I bruise actually a lot easier. So like when I'm in the gym or if I like, a weight hits me, I could bruise a little, but that's not going to stop me to doing what I love to do. And I just feel like if you are not able to take risks on things, you're going to feel stuck. And in order to get unstuck, you got to take action. Action mitigates so many things to where, wow, when you take actions, there's behaviors that are aligned with those actions, and then actions that are consistent can become habits. So
Awesome, incredible, that's amazing. So yeah, you've heard it here first. Risk is a part of living, from Mr. Iang Kay. Risk is a part of living. We're taking a risk every single day. I mean, to be honest, risk is in different ways. There's physical risk, mental risk, verbal. There's a lot of things, and there's especially like how we're negotiating and talking now. Everything is a risk because you speaking to someone, to specific people, and most negative people around the world. And since the internet is a thing, this is going to go out and probably hit someone who's going to disagree, and that's a risk. But here's the thing, should a risk make you stop?
That's a great question. I don't think a risk could make you stop. How often, when you're not driving yet, but when you're coming to yellow light, you see the yellow light and you stop right away? Or do you have to have judgment? Do you have to have some sort of an ability to become aware and have like I don't want to say a guesstimate, but it takes judgment, and sometimes it takes having an open mind. It's those that are very close-minded and only believe what they want to believe. Those people have a lot of trouble having an open mind and being open to learning new things. And I just feel like, yes, like you can choose to take the risk, but it's so much better to live with failures that have feedback and lessons than to never make a risk and to have regrets, because you're only going to have one life, and your life living is it. We all have dreams, but to have the dream become the reality, you have to keep that dream alive every day. And if you want to, when you grow up, Mohamed, whether it's going to the moon or if you want to, start a company that ends up being worth more than $100 million, you have to do actions and take steps every single day so that dream becomes a reality. And here's the other thing. Sometimes your dream won't come true until you help other people's dreams come true. And I learned this from so many of the people that I study, people that I've never even shooken their hand, like you and me. But Walt Disney, he had so many other people's dreams come true in the form of Disney princesses, Disney stories, princes, kissing frogs, and all these things, miracles. And miracles happen when you can believe, and when it takes, the power of trusting someone else. And I just feel like risk comes reward, comes trust issues, comes all these things. But no one's going to be able to make those choices but you, the person behind the car, the person, that's controlling me, you and me, our intellect, our mind, our body. And when our mind, our body, and our intellect and our body is working together, we're all tools, we're all instruments. And I just feel like whether you have someone that's really good at being a violinist, they figured out so well through practice, through habits, through behaviors, how to use their body to be instrumentally in tune with that instrument and play it. And I feel like whether you're singing or you're a motivational public speaker like yourself, it just takes time, practice, and an ability to make you the tool. You have to become a tool, become useful, right? Beneficial to not just yourself, but for other people. And that's why we're all here for a reason. We all have gifts, and it takes taking risk to have your gift become revealed, I feel like.
100%. Yeah, because if you try to help others, all of our dreams and all of our successes and all of our personalities and our connections are connected. We're all like a spider web.
I agree.
Every bit of it is connected to the other. So if we help someone do something, they're going to end up helping another person do that. And it's just a domino effect. So yeah, risks in life are something that most people really fear. But is it fear what changes someone, or is it risk?
That's a good idea. So for me, I can go to bed at night and I can fall asleep within 10 to 15 minutes, if not less. I don't sleep with fears. I don't sleep going to bed worrying about something that I have no control over. I love to be careful or cautious or very much obsessed with something that I'm worried about, but I'm not going to allow that to control the way that I can think and feel in the next moment or minute, because whether it's just being emotionally thick skinned and tough. And I also, I've had my 2 open heart surgeries, one at 14 years old and the other at 26. I'm 33 now, but when I was 7 years old, I had a childhood traumatic situation happen to me and I was attacked by a Rottweiler. So having to overcome my own fears of the animal that almost killed me at a young age, it's invigorating because I struggled from 7, 8, 9, but around 10, I finally overcame my own fear of dogs because I realized the dog that attacked my arm was a mean dog and raised in an environment where it was like an attack dog, and not all dogs are like that. So it's like people need to realize too, like not all people are bad, but you can train a dog, you can train an animal, you can train a person, you can train almost anything. When you have the right experience, you can train them. And I just feel like for me, I overcame that fear at a young age. And, luckily my next door neighbor saved my life and choked this dog off me. But growing up with this trauma, I had to overcome those issues. The best thing that ever happened to me was my inner child pretty much just stayed alive and well. Like I love to like be creative. I love to be wrong. I like to take risk every single day because I know the rewards of the lessons learned with failures and risking it. And I just feel like I don't live in fear. And one of my gifts is to rid people of their insecurities so that they can laugh at life. That's why I love comedians like Jim Carrey, Adam Sandler, Ben Stiller, whether they're producers or actors, but these people have provided so much value in the form of stories and making people laugh. And I just feel like when you can do that as a business, whether it's value in a book, no one's going to write the book until you actually produce it and get it done. Like the hardest thing to do is like, oh, I want to sell so-and-so this. It's like, don't focus on the sales, focus on the impact and the value that you're going to give, and sales will come. And I just feel like that's one of the biggest misconceptions. And I just feel like when you can focus, I know this is a little all over the place, but yeah, the fear aspect, I've chosen not to live in fear. I live in faith. And I just feel like everyone's going to go through something in their life that's unique to them. And it's going to be the hardest thing, but you have to surrender, whether it's Allah or a God. And I just feel like all religions are very similar to that extent when you realize that all religions should be around one thing, a philosophy of how you live your life and about unconditional love and acceptance and understanding, because we all come from something. And I just feel like you're going to, whether it's you or someone else that is listening to this, it's going to be so much easier to be fearful, and it's going to be hard to kind of be tough or have fortitude. And I just feel like you have to realize that it's the dark times and the things that are outside of your control that are going to allow you to realize what your greatest strengths are. Because I've been able to turn my weaknesses, whether I still was able to play baseball growing up in high school, but I got attacked by a Rottweiler on my arm and had 82 stitches, and whether I was limited with health and wellness and being able to lift weights, I kept going and overcoming some of my own, plateaus. And I just feel like it's because I chose to have faith and I chose to overcome those fears from my own struggles. And everyone's going to have to do that. And it takes a support system. It takes people that have your best interests in mind, and it takes loved ones from family and friends. I wouldn't be who I am today without amazing doctors, people, family members that have been there, have been listening to me, have been giving me, unconditional love and that support. And I just feel like we're all not meant to be in a cage like an animal or a mice or a bird. We're all people. We're all supposed to inhabit Earth and help one another however we can. And I just feel like, yes, even though the internet's a great thing, there's a lot of negativity, but at the end of the day, there's a lot of great things that happen every day, and it doesn't get recorded. But it's the people that have their integrity and that are consistent with not dreaming, but keeping their dream alive. When you keep the dream alive, then you're living the dream. And a lot of people are just hoping, when it takes everyday consistency of what you know is in your purpose to do, and then you go and perform and you go and do it, right?
100%. I mean, knowledge bomb. Some mind-blowing information there from Mr. Iang Kay. Thank you very much for joining me today. It was just a blast. And we all know that you spoke from heart and from passion and from experience. Thank you very much for providing value today. It was an amazing day having you. And yeah, be sure to check the links in the description for his social media and everything else he does. It's awesome. It's amazing. And yeah, thank you very much for joining me for another episode of Mohamed Talks with Entrepreneurs, Millionaires, Billionaires, Quadrillionaires, Motivational Speakers, Public Speakers, and more. And I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye.
Thanks, MT.